Hello, 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 and welcome to Strausss on Spreadsheets. I'm the Strausss with 3s's.com, more about that later, and once again, we're talking about spreadsheets. Our first video in this series, talking about Visicalc, blew us past the milestone of 10 subscribers. Yep, we're double digits now, and we also passed triple digit views on a video. First time ever on this channel. So thank you very much to you, the viewer community. Um, if you take a couple of steps back, people might say, hey, Strauss, do you really think there's enough around here to really make a YouTube series out of here? I mean, how hard can it be? I would answer visually with the following. This is a scan of the one side of my original 1979 Apple II Visicalc reference card. It's in that folder, which I'm showing there on the top right. And if we look specifically at the functions, there's about 3 dozen functions. Dozen of them, which is a third, is just trig stuff. So not a lot. And that's it. That's what you had in Visicalc. And we'll be playing with those hands-on in a moment. We went from this to this. 21 years later, in the year 2000, I have this book. I'll do videos about it in the future. 900 pages talking about a spreadsheet program. So we went from this to this. I think there's enough scope and volume and history to make a few more videos in the series. So to show and get a little bit hands-on, I'm actually going to be running the original Visicalc for IBM PC. The previous version I had was the Apple II, and that's a bit rough with the emulators. And yeah, I'm going to run this perfectly legal because it's from the original Visicalc inventor, Dan Bricklin's own website. More about Dan Bricklin later today and especially in future videos. A slightly mind-blowing thing is that the entire spreadsheet, which is delivering you a non-trivial function, I mean, this is not nothing, which we're seeing on the screen, 27,000 bytes. It is microscopic, runs under Windows or DOS, and I would say probably under the year 2000, by using a few clicks in compatibility mode, you would have still been able to run this. Maybe even as late as Windows 7 had a compatibility mode. Modern Windows 10, 11 not working. That's why we're going to run it in DOSBox. But it's the OG stuff here, as old as we get. Speaking of DOSBox, not going to cheat. So if you've made it this far in the video, you are so nerdy, you know what DOSBox is, and you know how to download it. However, to get that original experience, we're going to set the cycles to 315 because we're actually going to emulate the original 1981 speed of this running on an 8088 477 megahertz CPU, like the one I showed in the IBM 5150 in the museum video. So yep, we're going OG 44 years into the past from a speed perspective. So let's get over there. Here's a DOSBox I prepared earlier. Sorry it's not fantastically large. That's just the way it is right here. And for people playing along at home, setting the cycles here to the 315, I'm mounting a virtual drive to a folder which I have on my hard disk. I go to there, and then it's simply come here. VC. Why is it not letting me? Oh, you bugger. Why is it not letting me? Ah, you bastard. We're doing so well. Can we cut that out? Can we cut that out? Here we are. Okay, so there, VC. And whoop, you can already see, because we are at that frame skipped speed, or at that 315 cycle speed, just the starting is already quite slow, just drawing the lines on the screen. Let me do that again. And while we're there, this is how commands work. So everything is prefixed by a slash. That'll sound familiar to some old timer. Then S for system command, Q for quit, Y for to confirm the quitting. So these sort of slash Q, slash SQY became muscle memory. There's a lot of Control KX if you used WordStar back in the day. So let's do that again. Here's my Visicalc. It's alive. And now let's play with a few functions, just because, right? So let's see. At pi has to be uppercase, gives us this. We're going to put some numbers. See, I'm typing as fast as I can, and he's not really catching up that much. We're going to do a sum. It's not equals. Equals is only the logical operator, which you see down here. If you want to activate a function or do a formula, you start typing directly into the cell. So at sum, open brackets, go, and then it's just like today, dot, right? It's doing me the three dots. I don't actually have to type it. I can select my range, and yep, he's doing the calculation. So far it's an addition. It's not too fast. And if you see, I'm going to change a number. There's a very slight lag, about 100 milliseconds between my updates. Let's see, what else can I do? I should be able to do 3 times A1, A13, there we go. Let's try and change some functions together. How about at average of what we've just done up here? As you notice, I'm trying to get him a little bit overloaded. I don't think we'll manage in the time available. But as we update individual numbers up here, you see, yeah, now you start seeing the lag. He's first updating this one, then that one, then that one. So brute forcing in here. Notice how the fact that I mistyped and put text in here doesn't phase him. Okay, it's text, it's not a number. I'm going to ignore. Um, Enough for the hands-on. Now you see how you could play along at home. I want to comment on a couple more things in the functions, which are very interesting, because what we see here is it's literally the future. Remember, we are in 1979 when we're reading this. We don't know what the future of spreadsheets will be, but there are patterns which are very, very familiar. One which I'm going to start with is lists, right? So when I'm doing these average or sum or any function, the argument is a list, and the list, of course, yeah, is a list of fields, which I can do with B14 to B15. But look at this guy. I can build complex lists with a mix of hard-coded elements, ranges, functions, and something else, and he's just going to interpret and dump that. You would need a lot more text than this to make that work in a modern spreadsheet. This is because I guess they're doing directly stacked based kind of analysis and just chewing through the entire thing. And yeah, so they can do things. The list also, along with this other function, lookup range, means that in the original Visicalc, they already sowed the seeds of not destruction, but a lot of pain for many IT people, i.e. using a spreadsheet as a database, right? So that's exactly what this is setting you up to do. You're starting to have lists of things with values, key value pairs, mashed into mathematical logic, which are very powerful, but you can also shoot yourself in the foot. And I will mention these two: is NA or is error returns true or false. This is something which, heck, I used definitely in Excel at least 10, 20 years ago. You intentionally have functions failing, and then you check for the failure to go and drive some logic somewhere else. So that is the pattern of using Excel to drive to build mini applications, which no one has a way to actually then retrofit. Is like, what is this thing doing, and how does it work, and how does it change? Because your logic is just spread across all of these individual cells. It would drive you bonkers. So, yep, the seeds of the seeds of greatness and the seeds of destruction are already visible here in this very, very short handful of functions, which came along over 45 years ago. And just for an encore, let's see if I can, dollars and cents, formatting. That is the one thing which I got right as well. And then dollar. Okay, it doesn't put a dollar in front, so I just did this command over here, dollar and cents. So it took my function here and trimmed it down to 2 digits. I would have expected it to put a dollar sign in front, but still, right? You can have number formatting. Oh, let's say left justified values. You can do those as well. So /f L if you want. Okay, yep. So again, things that we're very familiar with in spreadsheets today: VLOOKUP, lists, formatting of numbers, misusing spreadsheets as a database, misusing spreadsheets as an application development platform. It was all already there almost half a century ago. Enough, or let's head into the home straight for this video. I hope you found this interesting. Researching this was actually fascinating, not just nostalgic, but fascinating. Let's go back to our regularly scheduled content. So I want to say that the genius which we've just seen, the level of thinking which allows you to do this kind of lists and all of these functions and commands in 27,000 bytes, that's a pretty smart person. And as I mentioned, I downloaded this from the original inventor, Dan Bricklin's website. It's up here on the left. You say, well, that looks pretty old. Yeah, because he's one of the first people to start writing blogs. He started writing blogs so long ago that he got tired in 2018. That's how long ago he got bought. He also one of the first people to podcast, and he's still out there. There's interviews with him, and I will go and look into that and bring that to you in a future video because there are fascinating insights, fascinating not just him as a personality, but in the context of the time, of other people, and of history. So with that, thank you very much. If you like this kind of content, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. I would very much appreciate that. If you really, really like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my newsletter on Strausss.com because that allows me to be independent of YouTube, of LinkedIn. Oh yeah, sure. If you found this by LinkedIn, boost the post, share it, like it, spread the word. More spreadsheet news coming, also more system news coming, more supply chain news coming as we go. Thanks everyone. Have been a wonderful audience.